You've been painted there by our correspondent Sarah Firth in Athens. Let's now bring into the conversation economic analyst and international lawyer Nick Skrekas. Nick, very good evening. Thanks for being on RT International. As we heard so graphically there, the Greeks again tonight, they keep on rallying. We're seeing more clashes, more public anger, but the government still going on course, pressing on with those cuts. Do the politicians in Athens, do you think, have any alternative to this in order to try to spare at least the poorest who are going to suffer so much here?
Kevin, there really aren't that many good choices at the moment for Greece, and the political system knows it. Many of the protesters that are there that you see that are very unhappy have very good legitimate causes to be, and it's not just the policies of today and yesterday, it's the last 40 years that have been a bit of a disaster, really. In terms of how reflective the political will is these days of the will of the people, well, 80% of the people do want to stay in the euro in Greece. Now, you can't do that without coming to some accord with your lenders.
So how are you going to do that? Tax cuts, tax hikes and more spending cuts are the way forward?
Unfortunately, this is what the Troika of lenders demand from us. And it's a very one-sided bargain. I think they've been pushing Greece and Greeks far too far, and I think it may result in a bit of a debt trap, because the more you tax, the more you destroy the economy, the worse it is and the harder it is to repay your debts. I think the only good news that we really got today out of the $7 billion package announced by the Finance Minister Venizelos is that he hopes that by the end of next year we will have reached primary surpluses, which means basically we've got more revenues than expenditures and we can start seriously paying down debt.
And during that time, in that time, focusing ahead, then, do you think you'll still be using the euro in your country in a year's time?
I have no question that if the euro is around, we will still be using it. I'm not altogether convinced that the euro will be around forever in its current form. It needs deep institutional changes. These have been avoided for far too long. We have a very divided Eurozone leadership at the moment. There's a lot of dithering, there's a lot of conflict. I think that they would be very unwise to even suggest that we leave, because, quite frankly, they can't force us to leave. So I think we will be around, and it sets a very dangerous precedent for them. If Greece leaves and succeeds, guess who else will be up next?
Yeah, I mean, how desperate are those Eurozone leaders to make sure that you do stay within it? I'm thinking particularly about Germany, one of your main countries helping to bail you out.
Well, I don't think that the Germans are the ones that are most worried about us being in the Eurozone. I think it's a lot of EU leaders that are worried about their own particular banking systems. Now, if these rumours about a 50% haircut were to eventuate, and I very much doubt it, you would be not only wiping out the Greek banks and Greek pension funds, you would also be damaging very many French, Italian, Belgian, UK banks, you name it. Okay, some of the German banks have offloaded more Greek securities to the ECB than others, but they're not particularly ring-fenced either. So it's in no one's interest at this stage that a messy collapse occurs, or even a Eurozone exit.
OK, Nick Skrekas, thanks for your thoughts. Economic analyst and international lawyer, as you are, and very much in the thick of it there in Athens as well. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Kevin.